So now that I've spent the past 3 modules telling you not to think about ideas, but to think about the problem, we're finally going to start to think about solutions. So in this module, we'll focus on how to design your solution. And the designing process is 2 things. First, it's generating ideas. So I'll give you a suggestion about how to do that. And then it's testing ideas. So we'll talk a little bit about what that means in the context of this course. Now, the most important thing to think about in the design process is not to rush this step. I know you're really excited to get started and take action, but remember to continue your research process and working and talking with the community as you design. So it's not like we're leaping into a new stage. We're just continuing on our step-by-step journey and iterating. So designing continues to involve the community, and hopefully the people that you've been working with up till now will be part of your design team. And design requires full immersion, which I really hope that you've been doing. And some people call this apprenticing with the problem, right? You don't want to be married to any idea or to your solution. You want to be married to the problem you're trying to solve. So usually you might come up with an idea, and by the time you test and iterate, it will end up looking completely different from what you set out to do. And there are many tools that you can use to help figure out if your idea is going to create the change that you're seeking to create. So in this module, we'll also share a few tools that can help you do that. Now, let's make sure we're on the same page in terms of definitions, because I've been using some words like designing and innovating and generating ideas. So innovation means the process of generating a new product or solution. And design thinking is an approach to innovation. What makes design thinking unique is that it centers on human needs, which is what you're doing. It applies a creative problem-solving approach to integrate the needs of people with tools to meet those needs. And that means that you need to be ready to experiment and fail. So failure is part of designing and iterating. You have to try many things over and over again before they succeed. So it kind of reminds me of the scientific method that I learned growing up in school. You formulate a problem statement, you generate a hypothesis, you do your research, and then you conduct an experiment and you report your results. And usually you have to keep experimenting and researching for a long time before you produce results. So I invite you to think about designing your solution in that way. And the last thing I want to say in this intro video is that you can innovate at multiple levels. You might not come up with a unique product or service. You might come up with a new revenue model that makes an existing product or service more sustainable or accessible. Or you might come up with a new operating model, which means like the way your organization works internally in order to make it possible for new people to access existing solutions. Or you might come up with a new distribution model, which means like how you reach people, how you reach the last mile, which is usually not reached by existing companies. So at the end of this module, I'm going to share a case study where they innovated at multiple levels to make all this happen. Again, the most important thing is to center the design process on the people affected by the problem and the people that you've been talking to so far. So what we're going to do next is we're going to start with the first part of the design process, which is generating ideas. And in the next video, I'm going to suggest a design workshop that you can use to start generating ideas.